MasterChef Ireland has found the very best 4 amateur cooks in the country. Christine, Bridgine, Mary and Mike have all fought hard to secure their places in tonight's semi-final. It's been a relentless competition.
Piers, do we have the celiac fish coming?
Yeah, it's coming.
How long will it be, though?
You need to take your head out of where the sun doesn't shine and move, yeah?
I want it now.
Now. Now.
And now only 4 remain, all with just one dream in mind, receiving the first ever MasterChef Ireland title and €25,000 in prize money.
I'm cooking for my position in the competition, so I'm cooking the best I've ever cooked in my life now.
I can hardly put into words how much I love to be part of the final 3.
At this stage, no, Final 4 isn't enough, you know. I can't go out at this stage.
You just know you're so close to your actual dream of being in the final, and to have to leave would just be, you know, heartbreaking.
Tonight they have their last masterclass.
Oh my God.
And with their most important critic. Dylan has without question set them the most challenging dish of their young culinary lives.
Good luck.
The time has come to find out who this year's 3 MasterChef finalists will be.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Hope you're all fired up after your last brilliant masterclass with John Burton Race, and you're ready for your next challenge. Wow, the final 4. What an amazing achievement. Just think, one more challenge and you're in the final.
For this task, I'm going to introduce you to Graham Neville. Hi, Graham. Morning. Graham is certainly one of the most prominent and up-and-coming chefs in Dublin's scene today. He learned his craft under Kevin Thornton at Thornton's restaurant and is now head chef at Restaurant 41 in the Private Members Residence Club on Stephen's Green.
Tom Dory said of his food, it was elegant and disciplined. And Georgina Campbell said his food was perfectly crafted with seasonal flavours that sing off the plate.
We're going to leave you now in the capable hands of Graham as he introduces you to some of the dishes he does at the restaurant.
Graham's first demonstration is a roast monkfish with avocado puree, coriander and ruby grapefruit.
So we're going to place the monkfish in the pan there, all right? When it's golden brown and caramelised, we're going to turn it over, pop it into the oven. It's going to take approximately 4 minutes for a piece that size, all right? A lot of water content in monkfish, so you just want to be careful. The pan want to be good and hot. If it's a little bit colder, it's going to start to boil and bubble, and you're not going to get the taste that you're looking for, you know?
To plate up, Graham pipes the avocado puree and creme fraiche and adds the ruby grapefruit.
Grapefruit and avocado is like tomato and basil. You get a kind of like a synergy effect with the two, and it creates something else in the mouth. It's just one of those natural ingredients, yeah. That's our first dish this morning, okay?
Graham's second dish is a breast of moulard duck roasted with black pepper and honey. He must first fry the fat off the duck.
So what's happening there is the duck is rendering, and that fat that comes off a duck is very useful for a load of things. Cook your spuds in it, beautiful. We're going to slice this duck into 20 pieces and fan it around. You need to have concentration and clarity and forget about what's going on around you, because otherwise you're going to either chop your finger off or the duck is going to be thick and it's not going to look good. There's so many little things that you need to concentrate on as you're going along.
The third dish to be demonstrated is Graham's warm salad of lamb liver with sweetbreads, asparagus, tarragon and sherry vinegar.
We've 3 types of tomato here. They're like a heirloom tomato. Heirloom means old variety of tomato which is grown from the beginning of time. They're grown slowly. They're not grown to be big, they're grown for taste. We've a red, a yellow and a green, okay? They taste unbelievable. You wouldn't think it was a tomato.
The tomatoes are added to a deglazed pan with lamb jus, tarragon and shallots. This will be the dressing for the salad.
So, warm stuff on leaves is going to die very quickly. So you have to do it, it has to be served and it has to go, okay? Because the warm leaves will wilt it.
The final dish in today's demonstration is pan-fried John Dory, braised Irish baby bok choy with lobster sauce.
What we do is we get some lobsters in. We take out the meat, all of the meat, the bones or the shells left. We smash them up to millions of little pieces. We roast off carrots, celeriac, leeks, roast it all in with the bones. We get a load of cognac, flambe it. So you put in some cognac in there, woof, up in the smoke, just to burn off the alcohol, reduce it down. You finish it with probably a little bit of cream, a little bit of butter, small amount, or else a little bit of creme fraiche sometimes too. And I put a little bit of our braised onion into the centre of the plate. We're going to lay our bok choy around, okay? Show off the nice leaves. Okay, we drizzle our sauce around. We use a palette knife then with our fish that was juiced. Lay it on the top.
Armed with just their notes, the contestants now await their task.
We're not going to have you prepare those dishes here. Instead,
Mike and Christine, both of you are on lunch service today with Graham. Mike, you're on monkfish, and Christine, you're on duck.
that leaves Mary and Bridging on dinner service this evening. So Mary, you will do the sweetbreads, and Bridging, you will do the John Dory.
I didn't have a clue what was going to go on today. When he cooked 4 dishes, we kind of reckoned, okay, we're going to get a dish each, but I certainly didn't expect to be whizzed in a taxi straight away over to the restaurant.
Mike from Limerick and dad of 2 has a lot to prove after his disappointing invention test.
I'm looking for a bit more of a push on what we're doing, a bit more innovation.
And his bland fish dish in Howth.
For me, he would have been a cert to go today had Claire-Anne not fallen down as far as she did.
Undoubtedly, he has been a dark horse throughout the competition and has given up a lot to be here.
It's been a tough, long journey. I have a career as well on top of this, and my wife is at home with our 2 kids. My boy is 3, and he's so much fun, and I miss him. And our little girl, Lily Marie, she's only 11 weeks old now, and I've missed so much of her starting to grow up. And, you know, this competition means so much to me, and luckily I have a wife that supports me.
But does he have all the skill and technique needed to survive at this level? Today, there is a full menu on offer in Restaurant 41, so 2 of Graham's own chefs will be working in the tiny kitchen alongside Christine and Mike. It is critical that they synchronise their orders with them. It is lunchtime trade on a busy St. Stephen's Green, so service must be quick and efficient.
You need a tin. Is that tin? If you went to the local shop and got coleslaw, it'd be thinner than that, wouldn't it?
Okay.
So, if you have a sharp knife, let the knife do the work.
Okay.
Right, that's tin.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Architectural student Christine has gone from strength to strength in this competition.
That is what you call sexy food. Okay?
Thank you very much.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
As her self-belief in her cooking is growing, so is her realisation that this may be the career path she now wants to follow.
I've been stuck in a place where I'm just not fulfilling what I want to, and, you know, putting hours of work into something I don't feel like, you know, I'm getting a lot back from. Now is the first time I feel like I'm really getting results in something I love, and I'm like, how could I put that away, or how could I throw it away now? And I'm so happy in it. You know, I would give up anything to do it right now, and it's incredible. So I do absolutely want to spend the rest of my time doing it.
Okay. 20 minutes, guys. First table now, okay? We need to start getting organised. Come on, Mike, now.
Yeah, chef.
It was really one of the first times where there's really no help for us anymore. It's going, you know, guys, here's the kitchen, there's your dish to cook. I've cooked it for you once in a masterclass, you've seen it. Now replicate that in my service.
Right, we've got to push on now, Mike, okay?
Yep.
There's a mess over here. Service is going to start in about 15 minutes, okay?
We call it a mess.
I found there was a massive jump today because really, you know, if you turned around and asked a question, it was like, it's your dish, you know, you sort it out. It was kind of like I was out in a desert island and I had to make it work, you know.
First order in, chef.
Thank you. Usual one. Order in, guys. 2 monkfish, 2 duck. Okay, get rid of all this now, come on.
The pressure is now on Mike. He needs to get all his timings right and get the starters out together with Graham's chef Martina. He only has one attempt, and it must be perfect.
Communication's imperative because Martijn and Mike are going to go at a starter at the same time, so they both have different timings. So the customer obviously gets the best product at the end of the day.
Of course, yeah.
So that's the interaction there is very important.
Chef, are you going to give me 15 minutes when the starters are called away to plate up?
15? No, you'll have 5 minutes.
5, okay. I always was under the perception of, you know, when they call away starters, so the starters are back and you have 15 minutes to get your plate on the pass. Whereas because it's a lunch service, I didn't realise you have to speed that all up again, so you have only 5 minutes to get to the pass, which makes things a lot harder.
Christine is cooking to order, and with only a 5-minute window to plate up, she's dependent on Mike's monkfish going out on schedule.
Right, you said 3 minutes on the monkfish. That's 3 minutes now. How long to plate? How long? Have you got a time?
Halfway through plating. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, chef.
No problem. Make sure that monkfish stays warm now, okay, and don't overcook it.
The plating up took longer than the cooking of the fish. I haven't done a lot of piping before, and I had 2 different items to pipe here in 2 different styles.
Chef, how long for the starter?
Mike, how long now? It's about 4 or 5 minutes now, from the original time.
Apologies, chef. I'll know for the next one.
Yeah, chef. You mightn't have a job for the next one.
I didn't fully understand the service at the start. When I call it time, it meant when the dish is going to be at the pass, not when it's going to be cooked out of the oven. And the call-out time that I give, the other 2 people that were cooking starters were listening to that and went to start their dish.
Have you drained your rice paper yet?
No, chef. I was going to cut it in half just as...
Oh, you need to get moving. That's another 3-4 minutes, you know?
With Mike's mess up in timings, the other starters are ready and must go to the tables while they're still hot. Martina is forced to help Mike with his plating up.
Yes, sir. Right, that took 12 minutes to get that monkfish out. You said it was going to take 4.
Sorry, chef. I thought about the cooking time. I didn't think about the whole plating up time.
Christine has started on her duck. She's just received a well-done order, which hopefully won't knock all her timings out.
It needs to be on searing for 10 minutes. It needs to be in the oven for 5 minutes. It needs to rest for 3 minutes. I need to give myself 5 minutes to plate up. It is tough to think about all those different elements.
And to add more problems to her service, her celeriac falls short of Graham's standards.
How small are they?
They're all different sizes, okay?
Yeah.
Is that how you were shown?
No.
Not good enough, okay? And I would not serve that, all right?
Check on, chef.
Lovely, yeah. Order in 1 mozzarella, 1 monkfish, 2 duck.
Yes, chef.
All right. You spinning that around every 2 minutes, cooling down the pan. When it's brown, then turn it. Let it happen, let it happen. This is the pastry section, not the fish section, all right? This is your section here, okay? That's cross-contamination. Look at all the prep the pastry chef has done all day.
Yep.
All right, respect that, okay?
Indeed.
Now tidy up and move on. As you can. Order in 3 monkfish, 1 lamb.
And as the service is coming to an end, Mike lets the standards slip.
You know what? New plates.
Start again.
There's too much creme fraiche on it now, and there's not enough avocado. Right, let's go, quickly.
Being in the kitchen is like running a marathon sometimes, you know, you just go through absolutely rough times. You just all of a sudden get the energy and burst and adrenaline, and it just keeps you going to the very end. The focus, I didn't look up, look down, I was looking at my chopping board for the entire service.
These are getting messier and messier now. There's juice and there's fucking shit everywhere.
I'd like to have done better. I'm my own worst competitor. Even if I do a great dish, I know I can do better than that.
I had the monkfish as my starter and it was absolutely delicious. A couple of mouthfuls were a little bit salty, but other than that, it was absolutely delicious.
Well, I had the monkfish and it was absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I noticed is that my 2 friends here had the same dish and they were saying it's very hot, it's got chilli in it, and I looked all around, there's no chilli in mine.
I've had duck here before and it's kind of melt in your mouth, so this wasn't quite as much as that, but we're talking about the difference really between something that's excellent and something that's perfect. You know, so I would say it was excellent.
It's day 1 of the MasterChef semi-final, and the final 4 contestants are cooking in Restaurant 41 in the private members club residence on St Stephen's Green under head chef Graham Neville. Mary will be cooking a lamb's liver and sweetbread salad for starters, and Bridgine will be making a John Dory main with lobster sauce.
This is really the clash of the titans, I think, with these 2. 2 very strong cooks, very acute, aware, focused, committed. I mean, with these 2 girls, it's just, it's reaching its climax point. And I think that both of them want it really badly.
Check on, chef.
2 monkfish, 1 lamb, 3 dory, 1 strawberry chocolate cheese.
You can't be laid back, you can't be chilled out. It's not that sort of environment. And that's part of this competition, you know, they want to see you challenged, they want to see you stressed, because that's the reality of working in a kitchen. You know, it's not an easy game, it's not an easy job.
Never pour a bottle, oh, go on. Never pour a bottle over it like that, the flame will go up through the bottle, so yeah, exactly.
I was talking to my husband last night and I was saying how, you know, I compared this competition to the Leaving Cert. And then I said that, no, it's like doing the Leaving Cert but not knowing what exam is coming up next. You just constantly on edge, nervous. At each step you think, oh, can I really cope with this again?
Listen.
Yeah, sizzling down, yeah.
Probably reduced, is it?
Just there now.
Yeah. All right. Use your senses.
Yeah,
what's around you?
There's a good bit left.
Listen.
You have to be receptive to everything going around you, all the sights and sounds. You know, listening to your food, watching your food, but also listening to everything else that's going on in the kitchen and your orders coming in. So you have to have all your senses working together. Thank God I'm a woman. I'm able to multitask. I feel sorry for Mike today.
Mary's lamb starter is first to the pass.
It was very, very hot in there, so I mean, trying to get close to the pan and flicking it was burning my hand actually. So trying to get in there and turn them and make sure that they browned properly was difficult.
I want you to taste that for me now. Describe what happens in your mouth when you eat it. Tell me what you're tasting. Don't try and think about it.
You need to hint more vinegar.
Yeah. Don't be using your thumbs and stuff. Try and not to use your hands.
Not to use your hands, okay.
So far in the competition, the judges have seen 2 Bridgines. The first faced tough criticism again and again for below par cooking.
That sauce is just like rocket fuel.
The second produced a fish dish in Hoth that gained high praise from the judges.
I was starting to get worried about you, so I'm glad you're back in the competition.
Can she maintain her good form? And which Bridgine are Dylan and Nick going to see in the semi-final?
I'm quite a robust personality. I suppose in so many respects, when you reach a certain stage in your life, you're fairly established in your career. You know, I know how to do that inside out, upside down, and, you know, even socially and in relationships and that. But I think now going into this, knowing that you have to, you know, start at the bottom and not be sure of yourself. And that's quite hard for someone like me to be unsure of myself, and I'm not used to that. So that leaves you vulnerable and open to criticism, and you really feel it, you know. But it's been a good challenge, and I've learned a lot from it, so made me a better person, maybe.
Order in 1 monkfish and 1 mozzarella, 2 lamb.
2 lamb.
4 dory.
Yes, chef.
So lamb and the mozzarella is about 5 minutes. So is it? Jesus fucking! What are you doing now? What are you doing? Don't dress the salad.
Okay,
just till you put it on, okay?
Okay.
And that's not your dress. Now here, young lady, you've got to check that your sauce. You're going to have to replate that now, right?
Am I?
You sure are. It's coming. How long to start this, young lady?
2 minutes.
20 seconds.
Give me your fat there.
20 seconds.
This has definitely been a turning point for me because that was the first time I walked out of a professional kitchen feeling exhilarated and like I belonged there. I didn't have 2 left feet. I got stuck in. I felt on top of it, and I haven't felt that in a professional kitchen to date.
That was absolutely immense. Brilliant experience. I loved every minute of it. It was really great, even getting blisters.
I had the salad with the lamb's liver and it was really tasty, really flavoursome. What I liked most about it was the kind of the vinaigrette flavour that was with it. It was really nice.
There's absolutely nothing distinctive about this dish whatsoever. I'll have no memory of this dish in 5 minutes.
The texture of the fish is almost like it's been microwaved. Yeah. It's not flaky like fish should be, it's bouncy.
Well, I had the John Dory for the main course. Actually, it was a real grower, and I think the more you went through it, the more you enjoyed it. And when it got to the end, frankly, I'd quite happily have eaten the full dish again. It was really, really good.
How did you find Mary did overall with the sweetbreads?
Their cooking and her taste is very, very good, I thought. What I told her to taste, she tasted, and it was like that every time. She hit it spot on.
And Mike with his monkfish?
Probably the most controlled person when he came in. For me, after that, he kind of lost his way a little bit. Got a little bit muddled, confused. He'd be the one that'd be disappointed the most, I think, with how he finished.
With Graham's appraisals done, Dylan and Nick have some serious thinking to do.
She's certainly just being the usual Christine. Couldn't attack it anymore, couldn't be more on it. Always alert and so quick to move and quick to fix any mistakes that she has. I mean, it's exactly what we're looking for in the competition. It's exactly what she's doing, and I was proud of her, to be honest.
And Mike, you almost feel like he's cooking by numbers. You know, he'll just follow the recipe, but actually not showing you any more than what he should be maybe doing for himself.
I do believe that, you know, he needs more pressure, and I'm not sure how resilient he'll be to that pressure when the time comes.
So if you think about it, we're actually on our way there for an all-girl final.
Like, it's not over yet, you know, you don't know what's going to happen with Mike, although it does feel like as if the girls are stronger.
Day 2 on MasterChef Ireland semi-final, the contestants are back in the kitchen for one last challenge before entering the final week.
Hi guys, and I'm sure you're all wondering what I'm doing on my own this morning without my sidekick. Well, you're in for a real treat. I've known Dylan for 10 years. He won his Michelin star at the age of 29, and he is the most exciting, talented and passionate chef that Ireland has ever seen. He has coached you for the past 5 weeks, and it is now time for your ultimate masterclass with my good buddy, Dylan. How are you? Good to see you. What are you going to be cooking for us today?
I felt that to cook on Irish MasterChef, we should definitely do something Irish and try and showcase Irish produce. So I've chosen some wild Irish rabbit, Dublin Bay prawns, Irish broad beans, homegrown chervil and Irish truffle.
This is the ultimate masterclass. We didn't expect it. We didn't think that Dylan would be cooking for us at all through this competition, because he certainly doesn't have anything to prove, but he's obviously willing to teach us, which is a great privilege.
He only named out 5 ingredients, but it's going to be a lot more complicated than what it looks. So really interested to see what he's going to do with those ingredients.
Dylan will prepare the all-Irish dish of poached wild rabbit, roasted Dublin Bay prawns served with broad bean and chervil sauce, langoustine sauce and an Irish truffle dressing.
Now this is an important part here because this is the belly. Now what's really important is that this belly, that I leave it in good condition.
Dylan prepares the rabbit belly by opening it out and removing the impurities. One half of the belly will be used for a ballantine and the other used for a confit.
See? Like an alien experiment. Yeah. Now look, I have a wonderful belly. Yeah? It's completely not ripped, it's not shredded, nothing's happened to it.
The rack is prepared by scraping the bones and pulling them out from the loin. The contestants must be very careful not to break the bones, as they need to be intact for plating up. The belly is then carefully removed from the rack.
Now we have this little rack here, okay?
For the confit, the belly is placed in a vac-pack bag with lemon, thyme, garlic and seasoning and will be cooked in a water bath for 2.5 hours.
This is a wonderful water bath. And in here, I have this at 64 degrees, and you'll have the same, okay? So I'm gonna pop this in here.
All the elements of this dish will be brought together with a langoustine sauce. To start this process, the shellfish are placed on a very hot roasting tray. Shallots, carrots, garlic and fennel, among other herbs and spices, are cooked in a pot.
Now, come in, it's very important that you understand this. See how this is working?
Yeah.
I'm not boiling it, I'm frying it. If I move that around, and I watched you do it yesterday, keep cooling the pan down. It's really important that you keep the heat in the pan. If you keep moving that, you drop the temperature. You drop the temperature, you're going to take longer to fry it. So you need to understand what's going on inside the pan, yeah?
The roasted langoustine bones and shells are placed in the pot and allowed to simmer for an hour.
Wonderful.
For the rolling of the rabbit ballantine, Dylan uses the second cut of belly.
I'm going to work with the natural shape of the beast, which means that that belly was around there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was around that. So I'm not going against the grain, which is rolling it the other way, which would be unnatural.
Extra langoustines will be needed for the ballantine filling.
What I always do is if you hold the prawn like that, you nip it at the back, but at the bottom, more likely to get that entrail out. When they're just really banging fresh and they're just alive, it's so much easier to do it. Yeah.
The ballantine is stuffed with 2 rabbit loins and the langoustines. The contestants must also make a truffle mousse to pipe through this.
I'm wrapping it around.
Have you been doing this dish for long? Is this...
I've never done this dish before until the other day.
No. Okay.
I've cooked prawns, I've cooked rabbits, I've cooked broad beans,
Yeah.
but never these marriage necessarily together. I did do a frog's leg version of this before.
Very nice.
To finish off the langoustine sauce, double cream is added to the stock and it's cooked for a further 2 minutes.
Just to take it to that so it's going to be even more silky smooth, what we do is...
Not pass it.
No, blitz it. So what we're going to do is emulsify it back into itself like a mayonnaise. Does everybody want to taste this now? This is really important. That's where it is as a base. All right, now watch where we take it to, it's what's important. Okay, so salt, sugar, and acidity.
For them to replicate Dylan's sauce exactly, it is imperative that the contestants can taste the difference that the seasoning has made.
It's so much more alive.
Oh, lemon is...
It's just woken the whole thing right up now and it tastes alive, doesn't it?
After 2.5 hours in the water bath, the rabbit belly is ready. The challenge now is preparing all the other components in unison so they go freshly cooked onto the plate.
Rabbit comes out.
See into that. Wow.
Now, do you hear that?
Aeration, yeah.
Exactly. We're getting to lose our ears and our taste buds and our eyes. Perfectly cooked. Prawn leaning on the front one, one on the side. All the bones are standing up and we've one on top of each one.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Wonderful broad bean flowers and then a little bit of truffle. And there we have our rabbit, langoustine, a broad bean.
Well done. Oh my God.
What was that? I just, all I want to do is eat that every day, possibly, for the rest of my life. It was so good.
Oh my God.
That is the most amazing dish I've ever seen in my life.
I think we're all just in awe of what he just did. It was incredible, like one of the most amazing dishes I've ever seen. But technically, absolutely the hardest I've ever seen. So I think today, this is like going to be the ultimate challenge for everyone, I think.
I'm actually petrified. That was just the most intense physical, emotional workout that he put himself through. I never had any understanding to produce a dish like he did there. It just takes every part of your being.
It actually has been one of the high points of the competition for me, actually, just to see, you know, how you manage those processes, watching a professional from start to finish preparing a dish.
This is a cooking challenge I've never come across before, so yeah, I'm cooking for my life here.
For one last time, these final MasterChef contestants must cook off against one another. This time, they're all battling for a place in the MasterChef Finals week. They can all see it within their reach, but for one of them, it will be the end.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
You're the last 4 people in the competition. And at this stage, it's really important that we design something that is going to show us that you're capable of intricate work. This is the next stage of the competition, and we need you to embrace it and attack it and be confident in it, because you can do it. So you have 3 hours to replicate the dish, and your time starts now.
Looking at the end line or the end goal, it was going to take too long, so I just broke up the dish into components and just started on the very first one, butchering the rabbit, which I've never done before, so I just broke it down.
I know we watched Dylan this morning for the first time, but like, then again, when you do it on your own, it's a completely different ball game. You're trying to keep track. There's like 50 million processes. If 1 or 2 went wrong, it kind of messed up a couple of other things, and the whole plate doesn't marry together.
You know, there's so many elements, there's so much to think about, and you're trying to focus on each task individually to try and get them done to perfection. But even to have the energy reserves to keep going and keep focused and keep, you know, looking for perfection.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to be putting my heart and soul into the cooking of this because it could be the last chance I get to cook here, and I want it to be a good experience. I don't want it to be me running around stressed. I would like to enjoy it.
The main pitfall, I think, will be on seasoning and will also be on the cooking of the rabbit and the different components. Let's see if they can cook that prawn perfectly in the middle of the rabbit, encased in the truffle mousse. The rolling of that, are they going to be able to keep it tight? And just the precision of that. We continually disqualify people the whole way through on their lack of precision. And here we have the 4 best. I mean, looking at those guys working in there, they're a different breed. I'm delighted to see it. I didn't think we'd ever see it in the competition. And it's there in front of us now.
It's great, and they're doing exactly what we wanted them to do maybe 2 tasks earlier. You know, now they're suddenly clicked in their brains that this is it.
I think we've boiled down the talent. I think we really have the best 4 in there, without a doubt.
Completely.
You know,
Totally
I mean,
agree.
just watching how they're working. I mean, they just attacked the diced shallots like any chef de partie. How did that happen? How did they develop to that?
They seem much more confident today. And it's maybe the hardest...
Let's hope they keep that confidence.
The hardest task to do.
I don't want them to lose that confidence, because it's taken a long time to get them there.
Mary's main failure in the competition has been her own self-belief and has struggled with nerves and outbursts of panic.
Yeah, yeah. If I could just have time just to. The night before the competition started, my brother and my husband had to calm me down and say, "Look, you've got to do this." Like I was going to back out. I got panicked and I just went, "No, I'm not good enough." And you mean I can't do this. I'm so delighted that I did, obviously. But there was a moment where, you know, I just thought, oh, I don't know whether I'm actually able to cope with the stress.
Mary is her own worst enemy. Can she pull it together and still remain standing? An hour into the prep, all the contestants are at the same stage, cooking the langoustine stock.
Don't burn it, don't burn it. It's quite hot, so don't burn it.
But Mike has mistakenly put the shallots for the truffle dressing into the prawn stock.
Why did you do that?
I just made a mistake there, didn't I?
Huge mistake. Do you want to spoon it out quickly?
Yeah, I just clicked me there.
Use something you can actually take it out with.
Oh, fuck. I'm just putting it in there now.
It's crazy. It's a truffle dressing. Oh, yeah. I watched him looking in the pan, and I think he looked in the pan for at least a minute and a half, and then looked at me and said, "That's wrong, isn't it?" And it was like, I think so.
That's Mike all over, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's going to set him back.
It was about 3/4 of the way in, and I was kind of looking over at what I'd done and what I need to do, and I found I was starting to get ahead of myself, and it was brilliant.
Okay, guys, 2 hours in now, 1 hour left.
We really didn't have time to look at the recipes. We had to try and remember what Dylan had done. I had to talk to myself and say, okay, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, because at times I felt like running out the door.
One of the most demanding components of the dish is the ballantine. They must carefully stuff the belly with the loins, lay in the langoustines and pipe the truffle mousse, and then roll it. Mary is ahead of the game and is the first to start rolling up.
It's a bit narrower than your one, so I'm just...
Yeah, no, it could be a little bit tighter.
Okay. I was way ahead. I was doing brilliantly. Then I went, why was my ballantine smaller than it should have been? And then I realised I forgot to put the prawn into it, which was a fundamental error. And that just went. I was almost lost it. I re-rolled it, and when I was re-rolling it, it didn't roll very well, so when I went back into the machine, it squashed. So I had to do it 3rd time, and that's when I started to go 3-letter word kind of territory.
Okay, guys, you're running out of time. I'd get all that rabbit in the water. We got 30 minutes left. Yeah?
Yes, chef.
Yes. Good luck.
They now have the broad bean and chervil sauce to do, and also cook the broad bean soup. They must fry the rabbit belly, make the truffle dressing and the broad bean and noily cream, and finally cook and prepare the rack of rabbit for plating.
The old Mary would have unravelled. I think I would have actually gone, I can't do this, and I'm not doing it. And even when the blender almost blew up in my face, I managed to, you know, hold it together. It's like a war of attrition at this point. What else can I do to myself to make life difficult?
The liquidizers we had were quite powerful, so the first sauce I did probably just had a bit too much liquid and it exploded out the top right into my eyes.
Have we got the headspace that the rabbit is cooked? How long have we got on the
We
rabbit?
got 5 more minutes on the lamb.
On the lamb?
Sorry, the rabbit. Rabbit.
Chef, or Dylan.
Can we start doing our prawns?
You ready? Go ahead. As long as you know the rabbit is safe.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Keep it back in the bag, keep it in the bag, get it in the oven and bring it up.
Dylan.
Yes.
Are you happy that I don't need to put that in the oven again?
I don't know, do you? Are you happy?
I think it's... I'm going to start carving, I'll be worried.
Get that in the oven.
Yeah.
Put that in the tin foil. Okay, guys, you got 10 minutes left. You start plating now, 10 minutes left.
One stop and measure done. Everything done.
The contestants will have a further 2 minutes before they face Dylan and Nick to froth up their 2 sauces and dress in the broad bean leaves. So they must concentrate on getting all the components on the plate, exactly as Dylan did.
I generally pride myself on my presentation, but I knew it wasn't going to be right because my sauce was too thin, and I had it perfect, and I just added more stock into it, and that was a stupid decision, and I should have just left it. It meant that when I added on the other sauce, they all merged, so it ended up just looking like a puddle, and that's just not pretty.
One thing I think with my truffle sauce, I knew I'd over-reduced it, and I didn't have enough, you know, little measurements of everything to go back and restart it again. So that was slightly bitter, and I knew that.
That was a huge amount of work. A bit of a marathon challenge, absolutely exhausted after it.
Okay, guys, if you can stop cooking, please. Time's up.
It was the toughest thing I've ever done in my life, by far.
Mike is going to present first, so he now has 2 minutes to froth up his sauces before presenting to Dylan and Nick.
The only thing I wished to have more time was to froth up the sauce. Probably need a bit more butter so it would hold. Because I put it on it looked great, but it collapsed within a couple of minutes.
Are you happy with it?
I was happy with everything except the foam at the end.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah.
Mike, I have to say, I think it's really, really, really good. The rabbit is rolled wonderfully. The mousse is cooked. The rabbit is cooked perfectly. The longest thing in the middle of the boudin is cooked perfectly. I think that is a really good effort.
Thanks very much. Excellent.
I actually think you got that spot on. Really good. I think you played a blinder today, in all fairness. I mean, you can see that, you know, the whole 5 weeks journey, this is like the ultimate in master classes and trying to recreate a magical looking dish. I think you really enjoyed today, and I think you should be really proud because I think that's the best thing you've done in the competition.
Wow. I'm blown away by it. Like, I'm so thrilled. You know, if I'm able to cook a dish like that, of that standard, and get compliments, now I'm thinking, okay, what am I capable of doing?
Bridgine is next up, so to her sauces and leaves.
I was ecstatic getting the dish up and looking somewhat like his. You know, it's one of the best achievements I've had, I think, so far, ever.
Happy with your dish?
Yeah, I think that maybe the ballantine, the rabbit and that might be slightly over, but I'll see what you think when you taste it.
What was the most difficult part today, this task?
I think prepping the rabbit, never ever done anything like that before.
He taught you well, though.
He certainly did. Living legend.
Prawns are nicely cooked.
Good.
Just lacking some seasoning. I'm just not getting the full amount of flavour that You know, when Dylan was doing his seasoning, he's very sure about the sugar, the salt, pepper. It's just lacking.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
I think that the cooking of the prawns is nice. You haven't overcooked them. Could have roasted them a little bit better.
Okay.
They're okay.
A bit more uniform.
The cooking of the ballantine
Yeah.
was good, you know. I mean, you haven't overcooked it.
Okay.
The rabbit is still nice and moist. You have let it down in terms of your seasoning. I think Nick's right.
Okay.
I think that it could jump off the plate. I think it was more alive today in terms of flavour, and it's just a small bit flatter. It just doesn't seem to have the balance, the sugar, the lemon juice, all of the seasoning that should have been in there. It's missing something.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, thanks for letting me cook your dish.
Very well.
I think, you know, Dylan and Nick have harped on all along about seasoning and the importance of seasoning, and you know, it brings it all together at the end. And you season before, in the middle and after, and it's such a key part of cooking. So, yeah, disappointed with that.
I'm always very nervous when I bring the plate up to the table, and especially today when it's Dylan's dish, I was like, he's going to know every single thing about that dish. You know, he's going to know from the sauce to the prawn to everything. If anything's done wrong, he knows.
Okay. Now, I have to be honest before I eat this. There's a number of things wrong here. Okay?
Yeah.
I noticed that you've burnt and caught the truffle dressing on the bottom. It's just completely overcooked, and you've taken it too far. I don't know if you've tasted that, but it's just, you've actually burnt it. You've burnt the balsamic. So I'm going to do this anyway, but I know what you've done. You've sort of spoiled all that wonderful flavour of truffle because you've the sugar, the natural sugar in the balsamic, you've taken it down too far.
Okay.
Technically, you've fallen down in a number of places. I mean, you can see how brown and ungreen that is. I mean, that was bright green, wasn't it today? It's like a luminous.
The sauce, boiled bean sauce, very runny. It's almost as if you've cooked every element, but none of it's actually marrying together.
It's come together, yeah.
And that's what's a great shame, because that dish everything has to go together.
Yeah.
And it has that explosion of flavour, and then you get it in your mouth, and that's sort of the taste buds, the senses. And this has fallen flat today.
Before you go, you know, I want to make it very clear as to, you know, why it isn't working, you know. I mean, you've worked really hard all day, and I don't want your work to go unappreciated. But all of that precision that we've talked about, this was your day to day to take all of that robust, hearty work that you do and apply it to precision. And yet that hasn't, you see where you've missed.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, thanks. The standard of cooking is phenomenal. I think we all need to understand that. And yet again, I'm really young, I'm only learning, so it's all an experience for me, to be honest.
And finally, it's Mary's turn.
You find it tough today?
Yeah, I think forgetting to put the prawn in the ballotine was
Sort of stressed you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's a nice ballotine. It's moist. It's really nicely cooked. Lovely balance of flavours. I just think maybe your sauce is a bit too watery, but above all, it's a very tasty dish. Well done.
I think you made a few mistakes today. I think you over-reduced your stock for poaching the rabbit. And because of that, it seemed to be not as flavoursome and as sweet as it should have been. Presentation needs a bit of work, but overall, a good effort. You've worked hard. Yeah.
I knew the mistakes myself, but actually, given that I had to roll my ballotine 3 times, I'm just delighted I managed to plate it up.
I think Mike played a blinder today, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just really come back from wherever he was and he's produced the best dish of the day. The flavour, the balance, the work. It was just beautiful on the palate, wasn't it?
For some reason, I didn't expect it of him, but he cooked the dish the best. Mary ran into serious problems today. She really didn't execute it.
No, she got flustered with the rolling of the ballotine. That's what caused her issues. And then, of course, all
She rolled it the wrong way, Nick. She rolled it completely the wrong way. It was just really messy. Bridgine as well just really struggled today. It was a lot of work.
I didn't think it was great either, in all fairness.
No.
No, I just thought the girls let themselves down today.
The person that had the worst day was Christine. And I'd like to tell her otherwise. I'd love, with all her drive and with all her push, to turn around and say, you know, brilliant, you know, you really did it, you really nailed it today. But she didn't, Nick. She did not nail it. She anything but nailed it. It has to be about the food. It can't be about the effort. It has to be about the dish. If it isn't about that, what are we doing? So how do we judge this?
Well, this is it. I mean, looking at Mike today, I think, wow, he can't go home today.
Mary certainly has earned her place in the competition.
She's been the most consistent.
It sounds like it's down to between Bridgine and Christine.
Yeah, definitely.
Who would you be more comfortable sending out there to restaurants?
If it's solely on today, Christine has to go home.
Okay.
But if we're going to think about the whole 5 weeks journey so far, I'm just recalling back to the mackerel task. I thought Christine's mackerel was far superior than Bridgine's.
Yeah.
I thought yesterday she had a harder dish than Bridgine to achieve.
So you think Bridgine should go today?
I don't know, Dylan. It's just too difficult.
I'm disappointed in myself because I didn't shine today, so I'd be absolutely gutted if I was to leave now.
Very, very, very low chances of getting through now to the next round. Having done that dish, I don't feel 100% positive about what's going to happen.
Could be devastation, or it could be the happiest moment of my life.
Everyone standing here has proved themselves hugely in this competition. Myself and Nick have struggled immensely in trying to make a decision. The person that has gone no further in the competition is Christine.
Thanks, Ace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine.
Mike, Bridgine, Mary, you are the final 3 contestants of the very first Irish MasterChef.
I kind of feel numb. I can't actually believe it. You know, I've never done anything like this. I've never been kind of singled out as being particularly amazing at anything. And the fact that I'm standing here now, the final 3, is just, it's just overwhelming, you know?
I think if I hadn't made it to the final at this stage, I'd probably be rocking myself to sleep tonight crying, to be honest. I've worked really hard, I've been really diligent, and I'll continue that on forward. And who knows, I might win it. You never know.
You know, if I went out today, I would have thought, look, I cooked off that dish, but geez, to get through to the top 3, I'm just so elated at the moment. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah, today was my day really, so I think I let myself down massively, so that's okay. Oh God, I can't do this. Yeah, I think just being so close to the final and knowing how much is at stake, and just when things don't go right for you, it's really tough. It's really, really tough. I go home, you know, I can take a lot from this and do something, definitely do something. It's definitely going to be a career change for me, I think. Going to be a massive change, but it'll be good.
Next time on MasterChef, each contestant gets their very own Michelin star restaurant.
Working fast, nice and clean, but working fast.
I have to be up to Michelin star standard tonight.
We need your cooking to be as good as everyone else's.
You're okay, you're okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a football team, like a new player tonight.
Come on, Car, faster, please. Your pan's too hot, okay? We've a huge amount of work to do today. He'll pull it off, and we'll kick him a couple of times along the way if he doesn't.
And if that pressure wasn't enough, the 3 finalists take over a lunchtime service in Patrick Guibo's 2-star restaurant.
We have set the bar even higher.
Come on, Mary, you need to hurry up.
Oh my God, what's happening? Tastes great.